the Jolly Boys Brewery podcast.
Hey up now then, thanks very much for joining the Jolly Boys Brewery podcast. Here we are, I'm going to tell you all about the surroundings in a moment, but it's so great, this episode's going to be so great because we've got the kingpins of the Jolly Boys Brewery right here. We've got Brother Paul.
Hello, listener.
There he is. We've got Brother Andre.
Dear listener.
We've got Brother David.
Hello and welcome.
And I'd just like to quash the rumours from episode 1 that there was a suggestion, I think, from Brother Andre and myself that Brother Dave had actually gone to private school. And that is not true, is it, Dave?
It was very unprivate high school. In fact, if you were to look at spectrums,
Yes.
it would probably be at the opposite end of the private school spectrum.
It's good. It's good to know. And I'm
Thanks
glad
for clearing that up.
It's matters arising. It's a new thing. Maybe we need Callum to knock up another jingle for matters arising. But just on that, Brother Paul, what's your experience of private school? That'll do. Thanks very much for. Go on.
No,
what were you
that was
gonna
it.
say? That was it. Yes, that was it. And I'm pretty sure.
I've got to admit, I didn't know what a private school was when I was at school.
No, I didn't.
I didn't know they existed.
No, and there's no chance that Brother Andre did.
I thought they were called public schools.
Oh dear listener, already moments into the podcast, we've hit a brick wall.
It confuses me.
So welcome, dear listener, to this episode of the Jolly Boys Brewery podcast. And just to remind you, and particularly if you're just joining us for the first time, that we're not just found here on your podcast deliverer of choice. We're also on the TikToks. I kind of wanted us to make some noise there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
TikTok.
we're on the TikToks.
Yeah, wow.
TikToks, yeah. And we're also on the YouTubes. Again,
We
it would
are.
have been nice. Thanks, Paul.
YouTubes,
Thanks for that.
yes.
Some and also, let me see if this works. The Facebooks.
Ooh, Facebook.
Yeah, that was actually a bit more promising. So do seek us out on the TikToks, the YouTubes, and the Facebooks. You will find, obviously the YouTube's great because you get to see us in the flesh, dear listener, in the flesh.
I'm not sure that's a good thing.
I'm sure it's not as well. Good job.
Not again.
Good job you've got a widescreen telly. That's all I can say. So, first of all, I'd like to kick off the episode really with the parish notices.
Parish notices.
It's good, that, isn't it? It's
Brilliant.
a good one.
That's fantastic.
It's
Very
a good.
good, yeah.
It's a good one. Good jingle. And I'd like to just announce really that we're recording this podcast episode from one of the Jolly Boys Brewery pubs, which we love very much, which is the MALLARD on MOORTHORPE train station.
Ooh.
Yeah, and if you remember, Brother Andre, we were getting the artwork done for the MALLARD, and we were all very excited, weren't we? And when it was revealed to us, the MALLARD that they had chosen as their, if you like, the iconography of the MALLARD on a railway station platform, what was it?
It wasn't even the right breed, but it was a duck.
It was just a
It
duck.
was a Gressingham duck.
Was it?
A Gressingham?
So it wasn't even a mallard duck.
No,
No.
it was a Gressingham duck.
It was so. So obviously we didn't go back to them after that debacle. This is what you get when you haven't got a budget. Really, you get a picture.
You
of
accidentally call your pub after a duck that isn't even a mallard.
Yeah.
When it was supposed to be a train.
Well, it was supposed to be a chuffing train. That's what we wanted. That's what we asked for. Fortunately, our hero and Jolly Boy legend, Gareth, he helped us out, didn't he? And came up with a beautiful image for the Mallard. So we've had this pub for a couple of years at MOORTHORPE Station. And what's lovely about this place is it isn't just a pub. It's also a cafe and purveyor of excellent cakes.
Cakes and ale.
Cakes and ale.
Yeah. It's got good
And
ring
coffee.
to it. Oh, coffee.
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 Have you had a brew here, Paul?
I've had lots of brews here.
Mainly
mainly beer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had some lattes. actually.
How have you found?
It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It's a really nice setup, isn't it?
Yeah. And I've even had a bacon sandwich as well. In a croissant.
Oh.
That's
what you get at private school.
That's
Yeah,
Is that right?
Definitely what
I
you
didn't
get.
think you'd gone.
I'm guessing that if they
All
did a
right.
breakfast club at private school, it'd be bacon in a croissant.
A breakfast club.
A bacon croissant, even. Yeah. It was lovely. It was
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not get distracted.
No, and I've just, to be honest, I'm sitting here right in the moment, just realising why it's called Morning Duck, because it's like Morning Duck, because that's how we speak round here. But it's also, is the duck in the... I'm just looking around for the adverts for Morning Duck. Is it a mallard?
No, it's not, but there's layers to this. Layers
Okay.
to this branding genius. Mallard, ducks and trains.
Ducks and trains, mate.
But Morning Duck it's more Derbyshire.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
more
Nottingham.
than South Yorkshire.
Nottingham, Derbyshire,
Yeah.
Ayup Duck.
And
They up
it
duck,
was Enya's
yeah.
grandma. I think she was from Derbyshire.
Yeah.
Is it in honour of the... Because Enya, dear listener, is the lady who's... It's her brainchild, isn't it? The Morning Duck Cafe. So, and it's open every day of the week, I think. Is it? Every day? Well, certainly weekdays and Saturdays. And there's lots of stuff that happens. So do seek out Morning Duck on the Facebooks. I know they're on the Facebooks. They're probably on the Instagrams, which is not something I understand.
She's young, isn't she?
She is young, and that's
she's
that's
a lot
not her
younger than
fault.
us.
Yeah,
That's what I meant.
she's young.
I'm not sure where the barrier is young.
No.
Where's the line?
Anything younger than us.
Yeah, well, the barrier is the Instagrams. I think for us.
I mean, whichever way we look at it, get yourselves to the
Morning
the
Ducks.
Morning Duck on
And-
MOORTHORPE Station and have a nice bit of cake and a coffee
Have your cake and eat it.
and a bacon in a croissant.
Bacon in a croissant, which is quite posh, I think we've established. And then also, if you wish, just stay the rest of the day and enjoy some Jolly Boys ale.
And get weltered.
What does that mean?
Is that from Derbyshire?
I don't know. It might be. It might be. Weltered.
Yeah.
Is that having a few one over the 8?
It's having a few.
Yeah.
It's,
Weltered. I'm just writing that
a
down.
condition. It's a condition.
You've been
After
cask conditioned.
After too many beverages.
They do that. They do it to boots. That if you buy a boot with like a welted rubber sole.
Yeah. So putting the boot in, it's like having a lot of drinks, getting weltered.
Is it something to do with rig welted?
And I've just thought,
There's a
Yeah,
there's a
because-
beer called that.
Well, there is, but it's a sheep, isn't it? That's rig welter.
Oh, we're going in deep
we
now.
are going off
It's
here.
a sheep that's fallen on its back and it can't get up.
Oh my!
Where did you
I've
learn
s-
that?
I think
Is that
it's
what you
likely
mean?
to be
So
that.
Did you?
it
Did
sounds
you learn
like
that
it.
at private school?
Priest Training College, Brother Dave.
Priest-
They're all over that.
I think that's another episode.
Can I just, dear listener, there's been a revelation, if you pardon the pun, just then about Paul's time at what would you call it? Priest College? Was it Priest College?
Yeah,
Or-
Salesian Missionary College, but yeah, we shall
I
have
think
another episode.
we'll save that. And if you've got any questions that we
didn't
can
last
fire at Paul about why he might have had to leave the Priest College, then we'll be all ears. The other thing I've noticed about Morning Duck is that from memory, the emblem, the advert, if you like, for Morning Duck, the duck is wearing wellies. So maybe there is something in what we've
Welted.
welted. Yeah, I'm all in for that. I can't wait for that episode. So the parish notice is that we are here in the Mallard and we are in the function room, which is called
The Pullman Lounge.
the Pullman Lounge. Didn't we have another name for it when we first opened it? And we thought, oh, that's inaccurate. Can anyone remember?
No.
No, I can't. I thought it was the Sleeper or something. The night. It was wrong, whatever we chose. I can't remember.
That's
so
not like us.
That's not exactly podcast gold, but
No, it's
yeah,
not
I
like us
can't
to get
actually
things
remember.
wrong.
Yeah, we did actually nearly mess up the name of the place. So we nearly had a picture of an inaccurate duck and a really poor name for the...
And nothing about trains.
And nothing about trains
Mallard.
whatsoever.
The most iconic train.
Yes, which we are going to come back to later in this episode, train fans. So the main parish notice is that, yes, we are recording live here at the Mallard, and it's a great place. It's a great bar, and I'll tell you what, the paintwork is beautiful. I know that because I contributed to the paintwork, and I think all of us sitting around this microphone did.
Some more
Not
than
all of
others.
us.
No, well, you were too busy.
I don't think I did.
Well, you were weltered.
I was.
You needed putting the right way up.
I watched you doing it.
You
I
did.
watched you paint.
You always need
Yeah.
somebody to watch.
You do. And when we look out of the window, dear listener, and obviously, there's a train literally going past right now. It's Northern Rail, so that'll be a good train. Won't it?
It's not the Mallard.
Tell you what, we
It's
can
not the
do.
Mallard going
This is,
past.
how about this?
Yeah.
How about we put some little clips of the Mallard
Yeah.
onto the TikToks?
Check out the TikToks and you'll be able to see what we're talking about in terms of the Mallard, because it does look over the station. It's really lovely, because this building was once just burnt out, wasn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, it was.
Derelict.
Yes.
Yeah, in a state of disrepair for some time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and didn't they get some money to sort it all out?
The town council,
Yeah.
South Kirby Town Council,
Parish Council.
sourced funding and rebuilt it as it was.
Ah.
And what a fantastic job they did.
They
You've
did.
got to say.
Did it win second place in a national competition?
A national did it? Because it is brilliant actually, and it's a lovely station, and we're really proud to have our pub.
There's something brilliant
Here.
around pubs on stations.
Yeah, yeah, there
And
is.
this is one.
This is one of them, and maybe within the parish notices, I must tell you then on that theme, Brother David, that our friends at Micro Pub Adventures, principally Scott, Micro Pub Adventures, who you can find on Facebook and probably elsewhere. I mean, I don't know, but he's probably on Instagram.
Is he young?
He's probably young, but he's done a brilliant thing. He's done the Penistone Line Ale Train. .co.uk. If listener, if you want to go and check it out, it's basically all the pubs that you can go sup in proper beer in, from Barnsley, from our very own Jolly Tap on the Arcade in Barnsley, on the Victorian Arcade, right through to Huddersfield, and all the places you can stop along the way. So if you want to see more of that, just go to Penistone Line Ale Train. That's Penis Tone, I think. Line Ale Train, all one word, .co.uk.
It's only 6:15.
I know. Just leave that there.
It's before the watershed.
I'm sorry about that, but that's how people say it. So Penistone Line Ale Train, Micro Pub Adventures, they've been very good to us and included us on there. So please support what they're doing.
See, that's the kind of reason why he went to Priest Training College and you didn't.
I know. I think he's just
Standards.
absolute. To be honest, I think I let everyone down then with probably an obvious
I think you
plea
let yourself
for
down.
laughter.
You let yourself down more than anybody else.
did, yeah. It's not for the first time, but thank you. So those are the main parish notices I have at this point. I want to just jump, though, because I do think being in the railway environment, arena that we're in, I think ale, beer, all that stuff links really well with trains in the way that beer and ale doesn't really link with driving.
Yeah.
Does it? I think we can all agree that. And so, yeah. So, what have we got what have we got to say about that? And dear listener, maybe you've got something that you want to contribute. And if you are wanting to contribute, just email us at pod@jollyboysbrewery.co.uk. Maybe you've got a train line near you that has got some sort of ale trail going on. What have you got to say about this, Brother Andre?
Well, I mean, speaking to the can.
Speaking to the can.
We're on the Dearne Valley Wakefield. We're on the Dearne Valley line and we're on the Wakefield line.
Yeah.
But it's the historical Midland Rail cross-country route.
This is that we're on now.
So there's two operators running on it at the moment with their high-quality trains. I was just going to say that happy hours they were developed in London and the South East, because basically, if you live in London and the South East, you can travel to work on a train.
Yeah.
And
So
if you-
happy hour being cheap drinks at the end of the day.
after you'd finished at the office.
Yeah,
and
you finish work,
struck
have an
the
hour in the pub, and then stumble onto
Yeah.
the train.
struck the
Yeah.
deals, and
Yeah.
up north, people drive because the trains are not as good.
Well, whilst let's all admit that the trains can be excellent, sometimes they can be disappointing.
Well, we drive to work,
We do, don't
so
we?
that that means we've got to go home and get changed before we go to the pub.
Yeah, I have to go and put my best shirt on.
Plus, up north, people traditionally have been known to like actually graft and get their hands dirty, so
Yeah.
they want to go home and get up to the necks in sulphuric acid before they go out to the
To
pub.
get a proper wash.
Get colder stuff.
Yeah.
Basically. But I mean, I did look into this. I did have a little look into this around the concept of beer and trains and
Oh, right.
yeah, St Pancras Station in London.
Oh, it's beautiful, that
Yeah,
place.
well, underneath it, underneath it was set out like the warehouse at the brewery in Burton to store beer.
What brewery in Burton?
I don't know which brewery it was.
Oh, well,
it was
Burton's famous, isn't it, for
yeah,
its
but
breweries?
it had loads of breweries.
sorry,
it was Bass.
Is that so
Bass?
they could shift
Yeah.
the ale down on the trains and just shift it from one place to the other?
It was Bass and Worthington's.
It's a
and
good story.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the vaults are the same width as the sort of brewery storage in Worthington and Bass's ancient breweries.
Wow.
So because the Londoners wanted beer from Burton, the pales rather than the darker porters. There's a percentage actually. Something like they were selling something like 67% of the beer that they were brewing to London.
To London.
Using the trains.
And because they had excellent transport system.
Before there were even stations.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
the train used to just stop
Yeah.
on the tracks.
Roll the barrels off the side.
Roll out the barrel. Yeah. Wow.
I know.
And what about your experience of that? Have you ever been on a rail trail sort of
I've been to
beer?
London. Is that what you mean?
No, but I have once. I was once asked actually when I went to that London if I went to work and someone just looked at me and just said, "Have you ever been to the city before?" And I said, "Mate, at the time I'm 39, mate. Yeah, I've been here before."
Which is it's an adventure.
That's a long time ago.
It is a long time ago. Yeah,
It's an
yeah.
adventure in
Yeah.
itself, and you do pass on some of the journeys. You do pass through Burton.
Right.
I would never get off and have a beer there, though.
No, I've been there. I've had to stay at a
It's,
Premier Inn there,
yeah.
which was lovely, by the way.
What, Burton?
Yeah.
They don't brew any beer there now.
There seem to be big buildings.
Lager.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, dear.
Oh.
Don't. I think you might have triggered Brother Paul.
Well, the water's not right for lager in Burton, but
Who cares?
that's capitalism.
I mean, that just...
Go on.
I have to make an apology, actually.
Oh, right.
To some listeners.
Okay.
I was approached about my lagerism.
Yeah?
Yeah, and saying they were a bit
You're a bit on the...
mean. A bit
Okay.
mean to... I think they'd strayed onto the podcast.
Yes.
I think they were looking for Sewing Bee podcast or something. And they'd strayed onto our podcast, and apparently we were being mean to lager drinkers.
I think sometimes there's a
it's
line
justified.
and maybe we crossed it.
No,
So-
no.
I don't think we did.
We didn't go hard enough.
No.
Well, and so I was challenged. I was challenged. Their bottom lip were quivering.
Yeah.
You know, they were nearly in tears. That
Were they?
We'd been really mean.
Well, that's your lager
So,
drinkers.
So I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you've
Well-
strayed onto our podcast again.
It's always good to hear a confession from a trainee priest, and that'll do. I was just wondering and curious if you'd been on an ale trail, because I'm not sure I have. You know that hop on, hop off one? What's the famous
Yeah.
one near us? Is it Hebden? I don't know.
No, there's...
It's a Pennine
Pennine.
one.
Yeah.
The Pennine
Pennine
one.
one.
Sort of
Yeah,
goes-
yeah.
Yeah.
The one that goes sort of on the Huddersfield
The
line.
one, yeah, Staley Bridge, I think.
Yeah.
Ends
I'm
up
sure
at
plenty of
Marsden,
listeners have been on
stops
that.
At
Yeah.
Marsden,
That was,
Yeah.
I think that was the original.
that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah. Have you been on that?
Slough
Slowit.
Slathwaite or Slaithwaite.
Slaithwaite, if you're not...
Spelt Slaithwaite, pronounced Slough.
Slough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've done that one a couple of times.
Wow. Right.
Yeah, I've done the one from Dewsbury.
Did you get home all right? That's the main
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, I ended up at home.
Or were you
No, somebody's
were you
fault.
weltered?
I was welted.
but made it out.
We've got to be careful when we're talking about trains, though, because train spotters are not known for being accurate, are they? They're not known for being really.
I didn't
really
know
on
we were
the
going to upset
ball.
them as well.
they don't have a respect for accuracy.
No, right. What's your evidence, Brother Andre? What's your evidence on
It's
this?
just a sweeping statement.
I like that.
I just wanted to ask you all a question just to test you out,
Yeah.
to see if you knew what's the. Does anyone know what the first train line in the country was?
Stockton to Darlington.
He's got it right.
Brother Dave, you've woken up.
So
How did you know that? Oh, well,
just a minute.
public school. Public school.
It's the only thing I learned at my school.
this is what you might not know, dear listener, is that as the navvies were toiling to build the lines, they built 3 pubs on said line.
Oh, gosh.
Is that why it took so long to build?
Yeah. That's like when Brother Paul went wall building. I remember that you telling me that story. There weren't many walls built.
Dry stone walling. That's another. That's
a career.
That was a career.
It was
a career cul-de-sac.
I'm not sure it was the best career move.
Cul-de-sac. Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Manual labour.
It was very manual, but rewarding.
Reward. Yeah.
It was very rewarding.
Yeah.
What? Are dry stone walls near any pubs?
There were one next door to the cherry trees for me.
I love
This is the best bit. On the way home, driving in his car, dear listener, in his pickup truck, he would crash into the wall. And then he'd get to build it again the next day.
Not that we condone any of that.
It wasn't
obviously.
the 1970s.
No, it wasn't the 1970s. Brother Dave, I know that you've been on a lot of railways in your life. Have you got any more questions, trivia questions that you wanted to ask?
I can chip in.
Chip in a moment, because I know that Brother Dave once told me a story, and I think it's a good one to share with our listener about the time you found yourself on a train, didn't you?
Yeah, well, it's the link between train and beer.
Yeah.
And I was in that London.
Oh, you were?
Yeah,
have you been to that London?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I was in that London. It was a long time ago. I was in my early 20s, and I was in that London, enjoying some what I can remember as being fairly flat beer. Linked back to a previous episode about a lack of sparkler. However,
sparkler. Yeah.
And I was living in Bedford at the time, and I jumped on a train, having had a few beers in that London.
Yeah.
And, the beers were linked actually to going to watch a Rugby League Challenge Cup final at Wembley, and I jumped on the train and fell asleep on the train.
Did you?
Yes.
Classic.
And on my way to Bedford.
How far? How long is that?
So the London to Bedford is probably around about an hour, so it's not that far.
Right. Yeah.
But when I woke up on the train, it was darkness, and the train was parked in a siding, and they'd left me on the train, and I didn't have a clue where I was because I could have been in anywhere. Because
That's bad.
I didn't know where the train had turned. They parked me up in a siding, and I was asleep. I woke up on the train.
You were going to Bedford?
Yeah.
So you're the only man, possibly, dear listener, in the history of the world who didn't go to bed in Bedford.
Yes, that's it. That's
But
it.
the plot thickens because
There's a plot.
because essentially I woke up not knowing where I was, and I'm thinking, well, I could be anywhere because the train's in a siding. So I, first of all, I'm a little bit upset that they've left me on the train, thinking, why didn't they check the train?
And this is before mobile phones, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no mobile.
Did you
phone.
pull the emergency cable?
No, but the train in those days, dear listener, you could pull the window down and you could put your arm out and open the door from outside by pulling the window down.
Little
So
carriages.
I opened the door of the train and I jumped down onto the gravel siding from the train and proceeded to just walk across a station, sort of siding, storage, warehousing area until I found a fence. And then the fence was about a 12-foot fence, which I decided I needed to scale because I had to get out of this compound. I scaled the fence, dropped over to the other side of the fence, started walking down the road and realised I was in Bedford. The train has terminated in Bedford and they parked me up in a siding and then I walked home.
It's scaling the fence would have stopped me. That would have been it for me.
I wondered if they did
It was a
that.
climber.
I wonder if they parked it there because they knew you lived in Bedford.
Maybe. It was almost like an old-fashioned version of an Uber.
Did they took you in or out like that, put a blanket over you?
If I'd have woken up with a blanket over me and a little cup of cocoa.
That would have been lovely. That.
I mean, that's what they do these days.
Yeah, they would do that.
I was a little bit upset that they didn't wake me up.
If you're flying Emirates or
Oh, absolutely.
Flatbeds.
You know.
So there is a nice link there between drinking and trains.
I can. The relief must have. Yeah, the relief must have been tangible though when you got home, got back to.
Oh yeah, I think by that time I'd there was a relief for the fact that I realised I was somewhere where I knew, and like you say, no mobile phones or anything like that. I was just.
But where were your friends? Or did you not?
I didn't have any.
And this is why one of the key motivators behind the brewery, dear listener, is friendship, and that's where Brother Dave started.
At that time, I'd spent the day with my brother. I met my brother.
Oh right, yeah, that makes sense.
And he did something even better because he was going on a different train from a different station, and he was going to Aylesbury.
Yeah.
And he fell asleep and woke
Which
up
is quite appropriate.
And
Aylesbury.
he fell asleep, and the train went through Aylesbury with him being asleep. He woke up in Milton Keynes. He had to get off the train in Milton Keynes to go back to Aylesbury. Fell asleep again and woke up in London again 4 hours later.
That's, I mean, huge respect for that.
Did he start drinking again?
Maybe that was the only thing they could do.
Sometimes it's the only thing left. I mean,
It's a long time ago.
just London to Milton Keynes back to London because of ale
Sleep.
is excellent.
No, it's just sleep.
Sleep,
We were
innit?
tired.
You were tired, yeah. Well, you had a lot on. And being in the city, it's very tiring.
It is tiring being in London.
absolutely.
It's exciting.
And have you? I've just seen Brother Andre's notes, right? And he's just written dog jokes.
Yeah, I wanted to.
We've got loads of material, mate. We don't need the dog jokes just yet.
No, I was gonna tell it. It's not
Okay.
about. That's
Go
my
on.
cryptic mind.
Okay.
It's just when Dave was in the younger generation, obviously
Yeah.
they were made of sterner stuff. But I've got hope for the new generation because only this week I was cracking a few dad jokes about dogs.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I said I've got this little Jack Russell. I said but to train him up, sent him to dog training. And I told the kid that I'd sent him to Barking College, which I thought
that's very
was
funny. Yeah, yeah.
And then I said, and he's ready now to go to because he's a Jack Russell, a Russell Group University.
What's his name though? He's got a great name.
It's called Trevor, but I said he's going to go. I said
That's the
he's
best
going to go
thing.
to the University of Leeds, and I started
Yeah.
doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, this kid just quick as a razor just said, "Is he going to get a pedigree?"
Oh,
And I was like, "That's quick."
Good
yeah.
old Trevor though.
Trevor the dog. If you've got any questions for Trevor the dog, do get in touch on pod@jollyboysbrewery.co.uk.
What we could do is maybe feature Trevor on a TikTok.
Yeah, we might get him on the TikToks.
I was going to bring him, but
Oh yeah.
I did want to ask you a question. What stations are at the end of this line? Does anyone-
Leeds and Sheffield.
Sheffield and
And there's one
Leeds.
train out that also goes to York.
Sheffield this way,
Yeah,
Wakefield that way,
yeah.
Wakefield, Leeds.
Leeds, and then York as well
There's
I don't think all of them do.
no, every now and then one of them goes off to York.
for the races.
Well, could be.
So
I think
you could be here.
There's more
Yeah.
than the races at York, you know.
there's
So
the
There's
lots.
lots.
there's the Jorvik.
There's shops.
There's that dungeon, York Dungeon, which is like London Dungeon, but in York, which
Right, okay,
which is pretty good.
so-
So there's no reason not to come to the Mallard.
And we've got Frickley Athletic. How far away is that? About a mile?
Yeah, that's
Not
yeah,
far.
yeah, possibly. It's
Walkable.
yeah, South Emsall.
Yeah, and you've got film locations from that adolescence TV drama. They're right outside this pub, and so a lot of laughs to be found there. So moving on.
I don't want to get into that.
I don't either.
It's too depressing.
But that was filmed around here, wasn't it? And so, anyway, so I think is there any, what about the Mallard? Because I've seen pictures of the actual Mallard train coming through here back in the day. I'm sure we've got an image up on the wall somewhere. Not here, not in this room.
We had one of the Flying Scotsmen, didn't we?
Oh, just behind us there, just behind this is only for people on YouTube's, but I'll just see if it...
Dear listener.
There's a lot of shuffling around.
There is a lot of shuffling around.
Very
yeah.
unprofessional.
Yeah. I'm a bit worried because my camera's gone off.
Oh.
But I'll just have a look. See. Oh, yes, it's gone off. So, yeah.
We're all right. That's still on.
I need to get you two good looking.
At least the main people are on it.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's
You're back on.
So we're on. We're all right.
YouTube's might just be me and Dave staring like that on the YouTube. Sorry about that.
Plenty of laughter.
Don't know what's happened there.
So there's a picture of the mallard.
I didn't even think. I think you've made that up.
Yeah.
Well, there's a pic.
I think
The Mallard's come through here, hasn't it?
I think you made it up. I think the Fine Scotsman has.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
is
was
it
the
that?
Fine
That's
Scot-
what I'm thinking
And
of.
one's green, one's blue.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of.
And I learnt that at school.
Did you?
Yeah.
One's great. You've learnt quite a lot
Yeah.
at public school.
It was Sir Nigel Gresley who have you been doing a bit of swatting up on it?
Only a little bit of swatting up.
Go on.
You know, so it was the Flying Scotsman.
Yeah.
And what was the Flying Scotsman famous for?
Well, and the Mallard was famous for breaking the railway record, not the Flying Scotsman.
No, the Flying Scotsman.
The Flying Scotsman was built in Doncaster.
It was. So was the Mallard.
Was the Mallard Doncaster as well?
Yeah, but the Flying Scotsman is famous for attending weddings with no underpants on, as far as
apart from that, it was
Yeah.
the first train to reach 100 steam train to reach 100 miles an hour.
Is that right?
My goodness me.
Yeah.
Scotsman.
The Fine Scotsman.
Did they teach you that at pre-college?
Really?
Absolutely.
I didn't know.
Yeah. You see, if you didn't know that one,
The Mallard,
You were out.
confession.
Did the Mallard had the world record.
It did 126 miles per hour.
And Gresley were a bit hesitant to. He wanted to keep it at 125 just for. But he died in 1941, and the story got a bit out of hand.
It's like we've been on Wikipedia.
Funnily enough, just before we came on,
Yeah.
on live. It's 3rd of July. So I understand it was the 3rd of July,
You know some
1938.
stuff. You know some stuff.
Where was it near Grantham?
I'm not sure.
Apparently, there's a bit of a hill, and the staff on the train.
Yeah.
He got his top driver and his top fireman, and that don't mean somebody who's putting out fires in this case. It means the guy who was shoveling the coal in. And nobody on the train knew, or on the engine. Let's get it right, dear listener. They didn't know that they were going for it until the last moment, and Sir Nigel Gresley informed them that they were going to go for the record. And there's a downhill bit somewhere in area around Grantham, Grantham Station from St Pancras.
And that cheating, though.
I thought
Going
that.
downhill.
Yeah, I thought that. I thought
Yeah.
that
Bit of gravity.
part of the rules.
Yeah.
They took the record from a German train. So
And then war broke out.
Yeah. Maybe it's all connected. It's maybe all chuffing
They were a bit
connected.
cheesed off.
Yeah.
They were a bit cheesed
Well,
off.
who wouldn't
and
be?
said, we're not having that.
it was a bit much.
Yeah. Cracky Moses. What
Well,
else
yeah.
have you learned? Because what you've got to understand, dear listener, is Andre's turned up with magazines about the railways.
It's no, it's a magazine about beer, but it's got
Yeah, but it's
some
got.
of- I like to do my research, keep
Yeah.
myself abreast.
Yeah, well, I know, absolutely, and why wouldn't you? Just let's interrupt this meandering conversation with a bit of a WhatsApp randomizer.
WhatsApp.
Very good, Callum. So I'm just on my phone now, and I'm going to scroll through WhatsApp, and I'm going to find an event from when we set up the brewery. Now, if you're a new listener, the brewery's been going for over 10 years now, and we've built it on the back of conversations on WhatsApp. And we still have WhatsApp groups for various different parts of the brewery. But originally it was just the four of us. And so as I randomly scroll back now, using a bit of drama, I found a picture. So usually, dear listener, it might be a comment or a funny response, but this is a photograph, and the date of this photograph is the 27th of September 2017. What do you think we were doing then, brothers?
celebrating your birthday, probably.
Well, day after. Is it your birthday the day after?
We usually have a week for your birthday.
I do, yeah,
He
absolutely.
likes to celebrate. Have a few weeks off work as well.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Your birthday's important.
Nobody does birthdays like Mr. H. Roberts.
Well, mate, I love having a birthday, mate.
Only a week.
Yeah, I love a birthday.
Remember about that time you did 50 parties in 50 days?
It was hard going. It was hard going, that, but I did enjoy it. In fact, my last birthday, I was here in this room.
That is
I was here in this room. Yeah, the 27th of September. Can you guess what happened? It's a photograph.
Oh, that's
I think there's lots of photographs. So I'm not
Yeah, there
sure
is,
whether
and not all of them are appropriate.
Was we in the doghouse?
No, but there are some great pictures of us in the doghouse, which was the bar in the first brewery we had. Yeah, it was just brilliant there, wasn't it? No till, colleagues. No till. Let me tell you, the photograph is of the brewery pickup truck, of which we still have it, the Jolly Boys Brewery truck. And in the back of said truck are hundreds of apples.
Oh.
Go on.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're close, aren't you?
Yeah, we had 20 tons. There's a...
They weren't stolen.
There's a
Go on.
a provider near us who work with adults with learning difficulties and special needs.
Yes, that's it.
Greenworks they're called, and
Yeah.
they've got, believe it or not, 48 ancient varieties of apples, which
they've got a small holding, haven't they?
they've got a small holding, but they've got this like bank of apples in case ever there's a big disease breaks out or there's a monoculture. They call on these kind of places to reintroduce old breeds.
Oh gosh, I didn't know
Now
that.
they've got also dog snouts and all sorts of things, but it makes the most beautiful apple juice when you mix it all together. And they had this idea that they wanted to produce some cider.
Yeah.
So we offered a little bit of our expertise. I didn't realise that would involve dropping off 20 tons of apples outside our brewery.
It did.
And having to peel them all and press them.
It did,
With
didn't
this
it?
massive press.
Yeah.
With this massive anyway, we made this cider.
Yeah.
And for 3 months it tasted disgusting, but it improved.
Really disgusting. Way.
It was bad, but then it turned a corner and it really started to improve. In fact, a bloke from Cornwall said it was the best cider he'd tasted in years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that true?
So we sold it all, and they took the money and went to Benidorm.
I don't. That bit's not
That was
true.
our community interest.
No, it's true. That's what they did. They went to Benidorm. Yeah.
Took all to Benidorm on holiday.
Oh, that's just brilliant, and that's
That's what they wanted to
great.
do.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we fermented, peeled, did everything, and they went to Benidorm.
Yeah, we had to keep it outside the brewery. 'Cause we had an issue because we had to ferment it next door so that we didn't get any yeast contaminating our fine ales.
Yeah.
Because that was quite scary actually. Because
Well, you're not even
that could have been extremely damaging
absolutely.
for the beer.
Why? Can you explain that?
Well, we don't
Why?
even allow
Cross
fruit.
contamination of yeast.
Right.
You're not even allowed to take an apple. You can't have your 5 a day in Jolly Boys Brewery.
Why?
Yeasts, wild yeasts.
Okay. Right.
Contamination of yeast.
Look at you three all expecting me to know what you're all on about.
Oh, brother.
I know. Sorry.
Yeah, that's why
Sorry about this.
when you walked into the brewery that time eating an apple, eating a Granny
Eating
Smith.
apple. Yeah, I was rugby tackled
Correct.
by the chief brewer.
Yeah.
And he said, if you ever do this again.
Yeah, when we all piled up.
Yeah.
And give you a good
And
idea.
shouted, pile on. Yeah.
He's never eaten an apple.
He was one of his like random health kick. You know when he was like he'd been to doctors or like.
You know, you need to eat more fruit. So I started drinking cider.
Yeah, not in the brewery though.
Yeah.
Not in the brewery.
Not in the brewery, absolutely not. So that's that is the WhatsApp randomizer. I really love doing this because really what we've got on WhatsApp is the history of the Jolly Boys is just all there. Because I've saved that photo so I can put it on the TikToks.
I also bumped into one of the young men who went on that Benidorm trip.
Yeah.
And he was a young man who we all know well, and you used to teach him. He was in your form when you were a teacher, and he had a great time in Benidorm. He was absolutely buzzing about going to Benidorm.
He did some cider making, and
Did
then
he
went
thank you?
He was absolutely over the moon. Yeah. That we,
Did he thank the Jolly Boys?
I don't know.
I don't think he used those precise words.
No. But it was good to know he had a nice time. But I'm not in it for the
No.
thanks.
No.
Well, interestingly, I was walking to the football match, the last game of the season at Oakwell, and one of the guys was sat down on a bench and he shouted at me, Andre, I think I've got another idea for another project we can work on together.
Did you just ignore him and walk on?
It took me a bit to register who it was because he looked different. Because younger people they look different
grow up,
quick,
don't they?
and he looked really different. So, but it was a hot
really
day.
suntan.
It was a hot day.
Sombrero was, yeah.
The stuffed donkey.
They were playing. It's that game what the whack pinata.
Yeah.
They were playing that in town centre.
That's it. That's great. So that was WhatsApp Randomizer. Great stuff. Time's ticking on. Actually, is there anything you wanted to say, Andre? I noticed I can't help but be drawn to your notes that you bring to these podcasts. So, is there anything? I don't want to cut you off in your prime.
Well, that's what I try and do. Rather than interrupting, I just make little notes. But you were going to. I know we're brewing on Friday, but I don't want to take all the credit. We're in talks.
I've got questions for you.
Yeah, go on then.
I've got questions. Well, this is an appropriate moment for Ask the Brewer. Or is it Ask the Master Brewer? I think it's Master Brewer.
Who? What? Why? When? Where? How? With whom? Ask the Master Brewer.
Where is it?
He's around here somewhere. So we've had a couple of messages in from pod@jollyboysbrewery.co.uk. If you want to send a question in, you can. Sheila has asked. I don't know if this is a veiled criticism, Andre. She's written, "We hear a lot from Andre."
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's a criticism, actually. We need you to contribute to the podcast. We hear a lot from Andre. But who else brews?
It's interesting that because I had a similar question coming from it's Dale from Yorkshire.
Oh yeah, Dale.
Yeah,
Yorkshire Dale.
Yeah. I thought it's got to be a wind-up. It's got to be one of you boys.
Yeah.
Dale from Yorkshire.
I think you bruised when we piled on you, didn't you?
I'd bruised. Yeah, I was a brewer. I was a bruiser. Yeah.
We have a brewer.
Yeah.
We
Let's not name him.
It's like
not fair.
More a machine than a brewer.
He's a ninja.
Yeah, stealthy. And I did have the pleasure of working with him on Friday.
What was Dale's question? Sorry, was it similar to Sheila's?
That one.
Yeah. Who else brews? Right. Okay.
Yeah, but I thought that were a wind up. Dale from Yorkshire.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a wind up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yorkshire Dale.
I didn't take it seriously, but yeah, we've got. I mean. We've not got Oompa Loompas making it.
I mean, that wouldn't be right.
And it wouldn't be very nice.
No.
They'd
spend half the time singing.
I mean, they made a film about Willy Wonka, but no, we've got proper staff paid and
yeah, we have. Yeah,
that would be very nice.
Trained to a high level.
Absolutely, to a high level as well. Yeah.
And I think our main brewer's more than just a brewery. He's
should we call him the chief brewer?
Yeah,
because you're the master brewer, aren't you? Because you invent the recipes. Does it matter? It's not about hierarchy. It's not hierarchy or ego.
He does all the
He does all the graft.
We can call him Lord Brewer for all that.
Lord Brewer, I love that. Let's call him Lord Brewer.
We're not a local authority.
No, we're not. No, we can. We're okay. There's no hierarchy here. So Lord Brewer, you went and helped him. You were his assistant the other day. A bit like Charlie Bucket.
Yeah, I asked a lot of questions. And it became.
Oh, you like Nigel? Oh, sorry, Nigel Farage. You're only asking questions.
Yes. I mean, was he from this country? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a reasonable question to ask, isn't it?
He wouldn't have liked the Oompa Loompas.
I mean, are they even from Barnsley?
I think we've gone off track there. So let's go back to Lord Brewer and Sheila. So Dale, he was asking. So what else did you do on Friday at the Master?
Put a shift in.
Yeah.
Worked hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Busy. I was busy.
Yeah.
mashing in early.
Yeah.
4:30, shall we say?
4:30 in the morning.
Give or take a few hours.
This is why I can't brew. This is why I can't brew. Can you imagine if me and you were in charge, Paul, of brewing? It'd be a disaster.
I don't think it's going to go.
All I was going to say is that we need to just direct people to the TikToks at that point, because if you want to see our master brewer
Sweating.
sweating in
But not in the beer.
sweating, but not in the beer.
Yeah,
So it's there then on the TikTok.
Yeah, because Lord Brewer, I suspect, was doing the filming.
He did.
He did, yeah. He's very
Reluct-
good with the angles.
Reluctantly.
He just wants to brew.
Truculently.
He just wants to brew, that kid.
He was moaning about somebody vaping outside the building across the road.
Yeah.
He said somebody was vaping. He was moaning about that because we could smell a little bit of the vape juice coming our way.
Tropical fruit.
It want a fruit vape.
It was a special
That
leaf.
could have been dangerous.
Leaf. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. It wasn't me, by the way. I don't vape. Yeah.
No. It was none of us.
Yeah.
But we were brewing, we were grafting. He was filming. And beasting me because he wanted me to feel the burn of what it actually is like to do a real day's work.
Well, I thought you handled it brilliantly, and I think Brother Dave is right. I need to direct the listener to the TikToks, which we can also put on our Facebooks and our other socials, so that you can actually see the legend that is Brother Andre with a green shovel. That's what I saw.
No.
You had a green
Got
shovel.
a purple one as well, but I'm trying to get him. He wouldn't let me use that one.
No. Well, there's no hierarchy in the Jolly Boys.
He said you could only use the green one. So you're not messing my purple shovel up.
That's the apprentice.
I love that.
Basically, that's what he was saying.
I love that. We've also got a question. Well, we'll learn more about the Lord Brewer in future episodes, I feel. Maybe one day we'll entice him onto the podcast. Just because we're calling him Lord Brewer now, it doesn't mean he went to private school. Just a quick one from Max137, which I don't think is his real name. Bottles and cans. What's happening with the Jolly Boys? So people are interested in bottles and cans. We don't do them, do we? So that's the bottom line.
We're a cask ale business at the moment.
Yeah, we sell them in casks, big casks. Yeah, so you got to get them in your local pub. So if you've got a pub that you love locally, get them in touch with us, and we'll make sure you get some casks and you can try some ale. And also on that note, I should have said this in parish notices. In July and in September, Wakefield, the WX, which is the home of our brewery, Wakefield Exchange, we are having not one, 2 brewery festivals, real ale festivals. That's what
Beer
they call
festivals.
Them. Beer
Yeah,
festivals.
I think they call them beer festivals.
Oh, God, I was having to think on my feet then. Beer festivals, that's what they call them. We're having 2, and that's going to be really exciting. And also in October, we've got Oktoberfest, which is going to be really great. And those are coming up in Wakefield, and that's Wakefield's as most of you will know, is in the north of England, and it's easy to get to. By train. Look, we've nearly outstayed our welcome. Is there any other business, colleagues, before we start wrapping things up?
Nothing from me.
I have another apology.
Gosh, I think I'm getting the episode title together right now.
Just one more. If you remember the last podcast episode, we had a conversation about White Rat.
Yeah.
If you remember,
which we like actually, we really love White Rat. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with the beer.
No.
In fact, a good beer. But it was about about Lucy and Julian's wedding, and which passed off. It was a fantastic occasion, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was nice of you to get an invite.
It was, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Now the issue was, and the concern was that obviously, as Jolly Boys, we'd been not asked to provide one of our beers.
Yes.
Unbeknown to me.
Yes.
We had. And we'd supplied a number of beers to the stack.
Yeah.
And not only did Lucy and Julian have Jolly Boys on, but they had the Jolly Collier Porter on.
Oh my goodness me. Jolly Collier Porter.
It was
So
a
Did you
wind
have
up.
to drink 70 pints?
It was a wind up.
Were you weltered?
I was welted.
I'd been
Rig
sworn to
welted.
secrecy.
Yeah.
So even during the podcast, I actually knew that we were.
Really?
Yeah, I'd been told that it would to be kept from him.
Good poker face.
So he was thinking bad thoughts until he walked into the stack.
I'd been complaining
Yeah.
for weeks about the issue and the concern.
Was there some humble pie for you to eat as well?
Well, there was plenty. There was lots of humble.
Do you have that with
The
peas?
beer,
I didn't have any gravy on it.
Oh, great.
the beer had to be delivered
Naked.
to.
Naked
It
pie.
was a naked humble pie.
It had to be delivered to Lucy's house.
Yes.
It was top secret.
From
That's
him?
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was delivered to Lucy's house rather than the stack, so he didn't see it.
Well, I don't think you have to apologise.
Well, I know, but
I think he does.
I do.
do you?
Yeah, because
I
it
do.
was, he was getting a bit bitter and
I
twisted.
will. I mean, not quite as bad as sort of drinking lager. Although they did.
There's
have,
nothing wrong with drinking lager.
Sorry.
I don't want to do another podcast where it's full of apology.
Sewing Bee podcast for you lager drinkers.
I've got one more.
Go on.
It's been half term this week, and my kids have been off school.
Yeah.
And Cooper Gallery in Barnsley do pie and peas, and my 10-year-old, well, soon to be 10-year-old, he mockingly, following listening to our podcast, mockingly said, "We're going down at Cooper Gallery for a pie, and we're having peas." Just walked out of the house.
Listen, dear listener, you need to listen back if you want to know more about naked pies.
I'm getting mocked in front of my own kids.
But you're getting bullied by your own children.
Ridiculed.
Yeah. Reminds me of that time when
weird.
reminds me of that time when I ate a banana in the brewery.
You idiot.
You've never had a banana.
It was full of potassium.
Listen, we've hit our total there. We've hit the wall, but hopefully another great episode. We've enjoyed it, haven't we? Yes, we've enjoyed that
He ate
episode.
2 pieces of fruit in his entire life, and he ate them both in brewery.
I didn't know anyone was counting.
And he's never ate any since.
So,
I'm looking forward to him bringing the pomegranate. In a little bin.
I'm looking forward to the apology next episode.
No.
So, dear listener, if you want to get in touch, it's pod@jollyboysbrewery.co.uk. Please recommend and share the podcast with people you think might be interested, or even if they're not. Just if you're interested in beer, obviously, and pubs and stuff, but if you're just interested in 4 friends just having a nice, good old chat, we're really grateful for you sharing and subscribing and doing all that usual stuff. Follow us on the TikToks and the YouTubes and the Facebooks, and we really look forward to doing the next episode soon. So thanks so much, and see you soon.
The Jolly Boys Brewery podcast.
I'm really sorry I don't think I filmed